Hi, today I have a quick thought for you. When you think of you and the internet, you and the online world, right? Most of you would possibly be connected to Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, different platforms, and a lot of people, maybe you too, post comments or opinions or give a thumbs up or a thumbs down, like share what they think, right? So the question is, let's say from an energetic point of view, if you look at your track record of what you have so far left as traces, digital traces of your life, what would you say? How would you estimate has that been so far? And I'm using this to bring more awareness and consciousness to our everyday life and our everyday actions and our everyday outputs, energetic outputs into the world. Because oftentimes we can get stuck in our spiritual practices. Yes, I meditate, and yes, I use sound healing, and yes, I do this and that, and I go to church, or I help with charity. But we forget sometimes that every single little thought gets out there and is being seen, felt, heard, recorded in the energetic realms, right? And the same with digital footprints or fingerprints or traces. So if we become more aware of that, what have your traces been so far? Like when you look at the way you comment on other people's words or other people's articles, other people's outputs on any platform, how do you generally comment? Is it positive, loving, kind, encouraging? Or let's say if you can't feel that because you don't agree, is it at least understanding and compassionate and soft? Or is it the opposite? Do you tend to boost your ego to get into this, oh, my ego really needs to say this and that, so number one, I can show my great opinion on this, and I can make really clear that why I find this not great, not worthy, not good in my estimation. Like if we become aware of that, we also become more aware of how our ego dictates our habits and our actions, and also how we can take the power back. Because every trace you leave, and let's say we stay in this digital realm now, right? So every trace you leave in the digital world is there. Energetically, it's also there, and it's there. And even if you think, well, I covered my tracks well because it's done anonymously, there is no name related, and so on, and I have used VPN or whatever, right? It has still come from you. So energetically, it is always traceable back to you. Oh, you cannot escape this. Whatever you put out there, it's not going to be wishy-washy, no matter how great and great in the art of deception you might be. The universe knows this is what you've put out there. And the energy and the frequency behind comments, behind interactions, that's what's really important. We can say critical things, right? The question is, with what energy behind it? With what intention? With what kind of attitude? What is behind it? Are we saying it to boost our ego? Are we saying it to put the other person down? Are we saying it because we've just had a bad day and we need to do this so that we can feel better because we just need to vent and we just need to lash out? Becoming aware of this, what is behind this? If I'm just about to comment or just about to dislike something or write it off, what is there in me that wants to do this? that feels the need to do this. And I can tell you right now, it's your ego. It's always the ego. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But becoming aware of it means becoming more in control of yourself, because you become more conscious. You stop reacting from the identification point of perspective and acting out of that with your conditioning, your programming into the world, and you become more aware of, oh wow, true, every sentence I write, every comment I give, that's my legacy, that's my digital legacy, if you want to put it that way. That's what I'm leaving behind. And you can say, well, whenever I'm going to leave this behind, whenever I leave this planet, but you're creating it in the meantime. You're creating your digital legacy or your digital imprints, footprints, your digital path every single day when you interact with this. And I think it's really important to also consider these really mundane aspects of our daily life, because most of us are using platforms and most of us are interacting digitally and oftentimes maybe anonymously with other human beings, but they're other human beings. And so it might be very helpful to become aware of this and maybe reflect again on what kind of digital footprints do you want to leave behind. Are they in accordance with the other footprints that you want to leave behind, with the way you want to live, with the values you have, with the way you want to be treated? Do you treat people in the digital world that you just read as comments, but there's a person behind it? Do you treat them the way you want to be treated? And whenever you feel like something is coming from a place of negative intention, notice it without judgment. Notice it. And then really reflect on, what is the benefit of me putting this out there? What is the price I'm going to pay for putting this out there? What does it say about my legacy? What does it say about me? And is this what I really want to do? What I really want to do? Or is this what my little ego, my programming, would love to do right now, because this is how I've been conditioned and this is what has worked so far to make me feel good or seen, or whatever the intention is behind it. Or the other person maybe needs to hear that their opinion or their statements are stupid or something. Yes, that you feel like they need to know this. Why? What is behind it? And when you discover, oh yes, there have been times where I wish I hadn't written that or I hadn't posted that, that's okay. Don't judge. Be happy and content and joyful that you realize that now. Then forgive yourself and then change your digital footprints from now on. Let this legacy be what you want it to be, because you're in control. You're in control. So let me know what you think, if this was helpful in reflecting about how we live, how we interact, because everything is energy. The same with the digital stuff we put out. The same with the written stuff. Okay? I'm going to love you and leave you for today, and we'll talk again next time if you want to.